I am live now on Substack. I am live on the Clock app, and we are ready, ready, ready. Hello, everyone. It's me, Allison Rozelle. I am a two-time self-published author. I am a Reiki master healer and teacher, spiritual empowerment coach for Black women and women of color. Thank you so much, Tea Time Beauty. I am here today because I am on a virtual book tour for my new book. So, therefore, I am here to talk to you about my book, about me, about this process of writing and how it seems to get like a little bit easier with time. I don't know. Um, okay, so I'm using a different camera. And so it's got a little gangster lean going on. But come on in, say hello, welcome in, y'all. I am so happy to be here. So what we're gonna do to get the party started is let's let's get grounded. Let's get grounded. Okay, so everyone get yourself nice and comfy. Wherever you are, get yourself nice and comfortable. So if you're sitting in a chair, on your sofa, on your bed, excuse me, and you can put your feet flat on the floor, please do that. If you are not sitting like that, but maybe your legs are on the bed, just kind of sit in a way that's comfortable for you. Goddess Una, welcome in. So get comfortable. And I want you, because, this is part of it, I want you to close your beautiful eyes if you can. If you can't, that's okay. And definitely don't do it if you're driving. But if you're able to close your eyes, I want you to close your eyes. Feel your feet flat on the floor. If you're able to do that. If not, whatever way helps you feel connected to the ground, get that way. But I want you to close your eyes and draw your attention inward. And just concentrate on the natural rhythm of your breath. Allow yourself to feel every inhalation and exhalation that your body does naturally. Put your hand over your heart chakra. Feel your heartbeats. Allow yourself to be connected to yourself for just this moment. This moment is all there is. The past is the past, the future hasn't happened. So let's just be here right now, just breathing. Allowing ourselves to arrive in this moment here. You may have had a long day, but you're here right now. So be here now with every breath. Let your cheeks and your jaw soften. Allow your shoulders to come down. Just feel how sacred it is just to breathe, just to be in this moment. And as you allow yourself just breathe and feel that rhythm of your breath. And now that you're aware of it, can you feel yourself coming down a bit? Can you feel yourself calming down a little bit? Because when you feel what your body does naturally and you allow yourself to be present, there's a calming that comes over because you are right here and you are safe. And it is safe to be safe. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And one more deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Now open your eyes, smile, and I welcome you into this space. Hope you feel better. I do. I feel like I've come down a little bit from the madness of the day. But everybody, I welcome you. I'm so happy to be here. I want to pull us a card just to get the energy going, okay? And so we are pulling from Faces of Oshun Oracle deck, one of my absolute faves. That wasn't a jumping card. That was me not paying attention. That happens sometimes, right? Mm. This, listen, okay. So you're going to see how this kind of aligns with what I'll be reading to you from the book tonight. So just bear with me. So I'll show Substack first. And it's Oshun of Deception. Oshun of Deception. Dishonesty, masking, self delusion. All right, let's see what we got here. So in the guidebook, it says somebody is not being honest. If you find that you are the one being deceived, remember to trust your instincts and seek clarity in the relationships and situations where deception is afoot. Your intuition can guide you to make informed decisions and maintain authenticity. If you are the deceiver, scrutinize your motivations, the tales you've woven around your identity, and the secrets you've kept hidden. Why the masks and the lies? Are they protection mechanisms, societal expectations, or outdated roles? Put aside the disguises and get clear on your genuine desires, emotions, and intentions. Embrace the opportunity for self discovery and growth that this goddess brings. Unveiling the layers of deceit paves the way to more authentic, honest, and fulfilled existence. Your truth is your strength. And now is the time to let it shine. Give me an ashe, ashe and amen. Now, the reason why I find it so funny that this came up, thank you, Dr. Michelle, welcome in and gave me that ashe on the clock app. The reason why I say that this is so funny because one of the things, and this is the book in of the moment that we're talking about. It is the 7 steps of spiritual liberation for Black women. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Healing beyond religion and reconnecting to the divine on your own terms. That is the book. And the one thing about this card being pulled, coming up, talking about deception, it's kind of what this book is about. It's about us peeling those layers of what we've been taught, what we've been conditioned, whether it's societal, whether it's cultural, whether it's religion, whatever it is, we have these layers upon layers of the masks that we wear, the hats that we wear. We as women, we wear a lot of hats, especially us as Black women, because we're constantly having to mask who we really are because we have to be, or we feel like we have to be, that conforming, performing individual. And I feel like that's kind of why when I was going through and still kind of going through my spiritual journey, because it is a journey, it's not a destination. It's truly a journey, right? And it's the inspiration to this book, as well as the book that is prior, which is that one, uh, starting over at 40. Get it, get it, get it. Starting over at 40, my sacred journey of self love, self discovery, excuse me, self discovery, empowerment, and self love. Yeah. But this book here also, I talk about peeling those layers back. So let's talk about the book itself. So the 7 steps of spiritual liberation for Black women. Um, this was something that initially was a video. And I'll be honest, I don't even it was I was trying to decide, is this a video? Is this a blog post? Because I want to say at the time when this first came to me, I might have still been blogging on Blogger, but don't quote me on that. Yes, I said Blogger. I had Blogger. I sure did. And my Blogger was cute, okay? I used to have, like, put all my little, uh, my blog posts and everything on there. I was just yeah, it was cute. It was cute. And, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I think that's why I love Substack so much. Is because it allows me to write, it allows me to talk about my journey, talk about, uh, what I teach to, my clients, my students, my community. It helps me to just really put on my authentic face and just be who I am, and not in the corporate muggle world that I work the 9 to 5, right? That 9 to 5 calls me to be a different person. But in my magical self, you know, um, I'm a Hufflepuff. I thought I would be Gryffindor, but I'm not. I'm a Hufflepuff. And that's okay. That's all right. But in my mother world, as a Black woman, have to code switch, have to be something that I'm really not. in my most authentic self. Um, yes, I get to be, analytical. I get to be my smart self, all those pieces of me that I am, but I can't really just let my hair down and just be me. And a lot of us as Black women deal with that because we have to put this front on and fit in because, our hair, our skin, the way our bodies are shaped. We're constantly being scrutinized for one thing or another. And, corporate America is where that shows up the most of where we feel disingenuously, you know, out of our element sometimes. And it's not because we're not intelligent, it's because of the constant feeling like, why are you here? Kind of thing. So, anyway, when we talk about the 7 steps of spiritual liberation, we have to look at all of those pieces, right? So, what I'm going to read tonight is the part called, um, it's in the section called Returning to Yourself, Knowledge of Self. So, and I'm gonna be reading from my author copy because, I've written in this and everything else. I also got my pretty copy still, you know, but my proof is what I write all over and stuff. So, because I do teach. All right. Study your history and culture to deepen your identity. True freedom begins with the understanding who you are mentally, physically, and spiritually. But I believe that one of the most powerful gateways to understanding is learning the history of your own culture. Before I even began my formal spiritual journey, I was already searching for that deeper knowledge of self. For me, that spark came from an unexpected source, hip hop. hmm I'm part of Generation X, born on the very same day that's often celebrated as the birth of hip hop. Yeah, I know I'm special. hmm I said that. It's not in the book, but I said that. I know I'm special. I've been listening to it for as long as I can remember. And when I started hearing conscious rap artists like Poor Righteous Teachers, Public Enemy, X Clan, KRS-One, and others, I realized this wasn't just music, it was education. These artists were dropping wisdom in every verse, teaching us about our history, our power, our divine identity. Their lyrics were high vibration before I even knew what high vibe meant. They wore African medallions, red, black, and green clothing, and ankhs around their necks. I didn't fully understand the meaning back then, but I knew I was drawn to it. Speaking about ankh. When I was a teenager, I asked for an ankh necklace. Oh, yeah, and I got that necklace too. I couldn't explain why. I just felt connected to it. Wearing it made me feel proud to be Black. Now, as an adult and spiritual leader, I understand why. The Ankh represents the fullness of life, the balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy coming together to create creation itself. The loop at the top symbolizes the womb, the sacred vessel of life. Unlike the Western cross, which represents only masculine energy, the Ankh holds the wholeness of divine balance. The more I've grown on this journey of spirituality and liberation, the more I've realized how disconnected I once was from my womb space, from the sacredness of my own creative energy. Reconnecting to that has been part of remembering who I am. not just as a woman, but as a divine being rooted in something much older and deeper than I was ever taught. When I look back, I can see that hip hop was the gateway to my knowledge of self. It woke me up, called me to study, and pushed me to ask, who were we before the ships, before the chains, before the world told us who to be? That question became the beginning of my liberation. So, yes, hip hop was that place. Now, I will say this, I give a lot of props to my dad because my dad, he had, um, my father bought me the autobiography of Malcolm X. Um, and I read it, loved it, wanted more. I was like, I want more. Have one of my dad's old books. Hold on a second. This book right here about the Black Panthers, about the Black Panther Party. This was a book that I read, and I remember talking to my dad about it. And I've been thinking about picking it up and rereading it, um, just because I've been feeling um, very connected to this energy. But I I have the blessing and privilege to have grown up in a household with two parents that were teachers, that were educators, and we had no shortage of books in the house. From the encyclopedia, y'all remember them? You had to get new ones because the information would get old and you had to, like, get new sets. But we had encyclopedias, we had books aplenty. You know, my father had things, James Baldwin, W.E.B. Du Bois. I have W.E.B. Du Bois, Souls of Black Folk over here, you know. Um, and I would love to say that it was, my parents that totally got me to that point, but it truly was hip hop. Hip hop opened up that world to me that could only come through something, a vehicle that always was so close to me, and that's music. Coming through something that I connect with all the time, and that's music. Like, I remember listening to, like, Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS-One. Oh my god, KRS-One from Boogie Down Productions. You Must Learn. I remember I recorded on, Yo MTV Raps. Y'all remember that show, Yo MTV Raps? I recorded on, VHS some videos my brother and I did, and I caught it. I had been waiting for that one, and, I recorded it, and I watched that video so many times, and all the knowledge that KRS-One was dropping in that song. I mean, he dropped knowledge in almost every song he did, okay? And then, you bring in groups like Public Enemy, you had Chuck D. Chuck D was like, you know, the teacher, the minister, like, teaching us about our history and, you know, all this beautiful knowledge that we could have. And then you have Queen Latifah, stepping forth all regal and beautiful and having all her, you know, adornments and hats and everything. And it just really was such a powerful time in our generation that it really saddens me that it's gone. Thank you for the heart meet on TikTok. Got us to share it. So I still listen to a lot of that, especially Public Enemy. You cannot keep Public Enemy out of rotation for me. Just about any playlist that I have, Public Enemy is gonna make an appearance one way or another. And it's just appreciated so much. It just gave me so much life. It gave me so much, you know. And then I didn't really talk about this in the book, and I was really thinking about this, excuse me, the other day as it relates to spirituality. Although a lot of those New York rappers were five percenters, um, and you learn from them basically because a lot of them were five percenters. Um, and if you don't know what a five percenter is, look it up. The best thing I can tell you to do is look it up. Um, and it's interesting because I grew up in Tennessee. So really like Southern country, buckle of the Bible belt, you know. Um, but having access to those artists made a difference in my life. But anyway, I was thinking about spiritual wise, who inspired me. And I have to say, Erica Badu opened this portal in my life so much. Before I even realized that the portal was open, she just kind of opened it up. And yeah, it's she opened up that portal and made it easier for me to hear what I needed to hear. And I mean, I'm sitting there listening to Erica Badu even like when I'm getting home from church because listening to a lot of her music is very spiritual if you sit and listen to a lot of the things that she said. I mean, hell, on and on when she says, "My cipher keeps moving like a rolling stone." And she said, "I was born underwater with $3 and 6 dimes, 360 degrees of life." You know, I just, yeah. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for hip hop, for neo soul. Okay, I thought I saw something in the comments on TikTok. So yes, that is part of the book. I'm not gonna read everything because I want you to read it. But it is not a long read. It's like 150 pages. There are journaling prompts. There are rituals that you can do. It's all purposeful to help you reconnect. This book is not about bashing organized religion. If that's what you want, then please do not get this book because that's not what this book is about. What this book is for, this is for the woman who is or has deconstructed, going through her deconstruction. Because what ends up happening is people go through deconstruction of organized religion and they're wanting to release some of the dogma, but it's like once you're at a certain point of that, now what? This is the now what? because the whole point is I want Black women to come home to themselves, to come home to yourself in whatever capacity that looks like. Even if you are still a practicing Christian, Muslim, any organized religion, this book is not about you letting that go unless you just want to. What it is getting you on track to reconnect with yourself, to be able to reclaim parts of yourself that you thought were once lost, to reclaim the history of your very existence, in your bloodline, in your ancestry, that reconnection that so many of us have been searching for. I spent so much time searching for that reconnection. And then once I started learning about ancestor veneration, right? That opened up like so much with my spiritual connection that I it's like I can't imagine now not venerating my ancestors. I can't imagine that. That's weird to me to not do it, you know? Um, and then, as a Reiki practitioner, even though Reiki is not associated with any one religion, it's not, but it's that deepening that it does for you as far as your intuition and reconnecting you, clearing energy and working with energy and being that vessel, the conduit that source energy uses to put healing energy forth for someone or someone's. So yeah. So I'm gonna stop talking for a minute. Anybody got any questions? And you can purchase the book by going to the LINK in my bio. TikTok is weird, so I don't say that phrase because last time I said it out loud, it was like saying Candyman in the mirror. I was like, okay, y'all, doing the most right now, but whatever. So in the chat of Substack, I'm gonna put my link tree though, because this is where you can go to not only get the book. Hi, Goddess Chantel. How are you? Um, you can get the book, but I do have some things that are going on right now. Number one, next Wednesday on the 4th, I'm hosting a small circle called Black Women Breathe. And in this circle, this is for Black women who need to come in and have a safe space just to breathe and reconnect with themselves so that they can begin rest, get their body in position to rest. Because we did say, as the 92%, that we will be resting, and a lot of us have been doing everything but that. And it's usually because we're having a hard time being able to rest. So, I've created this so that you can rest. You can come in, you can get a cleansing, group wise, meditation, journaling prompts, whatever you need. So I have that. Then there's also uh where you can book a private session if you want one. And then of course the book. So that is there, and that's what we're doing. So I want to thank you all for joining me on Substack. I'm going to chill with the Clock app for a little while, but I appreciate you all. Um, get the book, it's worth it. And I'll talk to you all soon on Substack. Bye for now.